Everyone feared Benjamin Harrington. He didn't need to raise his voice, or lift a finger, his silence was enough to send shivers down spines. People said he had built an empire from steel and stone, but lost his soul somewhere along the way. When he walked into a room, it felt like winter had arrived, chilly, sharp, and soul-freezing. Every Tuesday at 9 a.m. sharp, he came to Marlowe's Diner, a small-town eatery that somehow survived the storms of time. But whenever Harrington entered, conversations died, smiles faded, and even the sizzle from the kitchen dulled as if afraid to offend him. He never smiled. Never made small talk. Never tipped more than a few cents. His requests were complicated, and his temper, cold and cutting. The staff hated those mornings. But they needed the money. And no one dared cross Benjamin Harrington. No one, until Emily Carter. Emily didn't come to town to make a scene. She came to hide. 22, exhausted, and nearly penniless, she had left her hometown after losing her father in a tragic accident that flipped her world upside down. With her mother long gone and no other family to help, Emily was forced to place her 10-year-old brother Noah into the state foster system while she tried to find a job, a home, and a way to bring him back. She arrived in West Haven with a duffel bag, a half-dead phone, and a hope that flickered like a match in the wind. Marlowe's Diner was hiring. She didn't know anyone, but she didn't need friends, just enough tips to pay for her one-bedroom apartment, her lawyer, and eventually, custody papers. Her first shift was on a Tuesday. No one told her what that meant. The door chimed at 9:01 a.m. Benjamin Harrington walked in, perfectly on time, dressed in a dark coat, gray slacks, and shoes so polished they reflected the checker tile floor. His steel-blue eyes scanned the room. The usual hush fell. Dana, the head waitress, nudged Emily. "That's him. Whatever you do, don't mess up." Emily blinked. "Him who?" "Harrington. The billionaire. Don't talk back. Don't ask questions. Get his order right or he'll make sure you never work in this town again." Emily didn't like being told to be afraid. She had seen worse than a man with too much money. So when she walked over to his table, she stood tall. "Good morning. I'm Emily. I'll be your server today. What can I get for you?" He looked at her, clearly registering that she was new. "Eggs Benedict. No hollandaise. Poached hard. Toast dry. And black coffee. No cream, no sugar." "You got it," Emily said, smiling professionally. She returned to the kitchen and relayed the order, then brought it out 15 minutes later, carefully balanced and fresh. Harrington sliced the egg, and golden yolk oozed onto his plate. He stiffened. "I said poached hard." Emily blinked. "Sir, you said poached hard, but poached eggs don't come in degrees of doneness like boiled eggs." "You likely meant hard-boiled, which is different. This is how poached eggs are made." Dana gasped audibly behind the counter. A coffee cup slipped from someone's hand. Emily stood her ground. "Would you like me to bring you something else?" Harrington's cold stare met hers. For a full 10 seconds, no one breathed. Then, to everyone's shock, he leaned back slowly and said, "Bring me what you think I'd like." That one moment changed everything. He returned the next Tuesday, then the one after that. He asked for Emily by name. He tried the omelet she recommended. Once, she saw him chuckle at something she said about a customer who ordered cereal with hot sauce. The entire staff watched in disbelief. One night, Emily walked into the break room and found Dana shaking her head. "You're either a miracle worker, or insane." Emily smiled. "He's just a lonely man who forgot what it's like to be treated like a person." But beneath her calm exterior, Emily was drowning. Her landlord threatened eviction over one missed payment. Her custody hearing was delayed again because she couldn't afford a lawyer. And Noah had written her another heartbreaking letter asking when he could come home. She kept going. She smiled. She refilled cups and wiped tables and gave the billionaire coffee as if nothing were wrong. But one day, she made a mistake. She spilled coffee on his lap. She was exhausted. Her hands trembled as she tried to apologize, expecting him to erupt, to shout, to humiliate her like she had seen him do to others before. But instead, Benjamin laughed. A rich, warm, full-bodied laugh that echoed through the diner. The whole room froze. "It's just coffee, Emily. I've lost millions in a single day. I think I can survive this." Emily blinked, stunned. "You're not mad." He looked at her, and for the first time, something in his face softened. "You know what I admire most about you? You don't flinch when the world expects you to bow." 2 days later, Emily found a check under a napkin. $25,000. In the memo, "For Noah. Bring him home." She ran after him into the parking lot, tears stinging her eyes. "Mr. Harrington, I can't accept this. It's too much." He turned to her, no longer the cold, unreachable man of steel. "You already gave me more," he said quietly. "You reminded me of who I used to be. Before the money. Before the isolation. Before I lost my wife and let grief turn me into something hollow." Emily stared, stunned. He continued. "I built empires, but I forgot how to build connection. You showed me that I didn't need to be feared to be respected." With his help, Emily won back custody of her brother. She moved into a small rental home just outside town. Benjamin paid for her to return to college part-time and offered to sponsor a local shelter under her name. And Benjamin? He changed. He started coming to the diner not as a feared patron, but as a friend. He donated anonymously to the hospital. He spoke at local schools. He became a quiet but powerful force for good. But more importantly, he smiled. One day, as he and Emily sipped coffee after hours, he asked, "Why weren't you afraid of me?" Emily smiled. "Because I've met real monsters. They don't wear suits, they wear abandonment, addiction, grief. You were just a man who forgot how to feel." He nodded slowly. "Then I guess you reminded me." Years passed. Emily became a social worker, advocating for kids in the system like Noah once was. Benjamin funded scholarships in her honor. And every Tuesday, at 9 a.m., the two would still meet at Marlowe's diner. But now, the town no longer fell silent when Benjamin walked in. They smiled. Because everyone remembered the day the new waitress made the millionaire look ridiculous, and reminded him what it meant to be human. Power may build empires, but it's kindness that rebuilds hearts. Sometimes, the courage to speak gently in a world ruled by fear is the strongest act of all. In a world that often respects wealth more than wisdom, and fears power more than it values truth, this story reminds us that kindness, courage, and honesty can transform even the coldest hearts. Light bulb true strength is not in how much you control others, but in how much compassion you show, even when no one else does. Sometimes, one act of bravery, one moment of honesty, or one kind word from an ordinary person can pull someone out of darkness, and remind them of their humanity. Never underestimate the impact you can have just by being real, respectful, and unafraid to stand up for what's right. Because at the end of the day, it's not money, fear, or status that changes lives, it's empathy.